Welcome back to Inner Journey Oracle. This message may not be for everyone, but what I am going to start with is 3 different phases of what this message is about. I got this kind of in, some people may be in stage 1, stage 2, or at the end at stage 3. So I'm going to tell you what each stage is and read about what it may mean, and you can decide which stage you're in. Some of you may be already at the end, and some of you may just be getting started. So here is stage number 1. And stage number 1 is intuition. So you already know. Take a deep breath and surrender to what you know to be true. Trust your inner wisdom and guidance. And I'm going to read this whole thing. What is your guidance telling you? Put your hands over your third eye and ask, if I knew what the answer is, what would it be? Then follow your first instinct. The Creator and your ancestors connect with you through your intuition. Trust your internal GPS. The nudges, signs, and coincidences are divine guidance. Slow down. Go for a walk. Go for a walking meditation. Be present with nature and pay attention. Being present allows you to feel, hear, see, and sense your guidance. Okay, so that was phase 1, intuition. Phase 2 is awakening. Let me return to the page. Awakening. Wake up. Awaken now to your true self. Are those tears of joy or sorrow? Let them out. Yemaya swallows your tears. You are vibrating at a higher frequency, so you see everything differently. This is Goddess rising. You are waking up, and once you have experienced awakening, you can never go back to not knowing. The path of awakening is not straight, comfortable, or easy. You have chosen to lift the veil and have come and have a real relationship with the divine. You didn't come to transcend this world while you're living in it. You came here to dig into the soil, plant yourself, and grow. This ascension is your divine purpose. Okay. And then phase number 3 is feeling safe. It is finally safe to be you. You have wandered through a dark night. Your trip has been long. There is light ahead. Your liberation is apparent. You deserve to feel secure. Feeling safe is knowing that your basic needs are met. Feeling safe is feeling at home in your body. Feeling safe is trusting your journey. Feeling safe is feeling free around those you love. Feeling safe is trusting that the sun will rise again. If you grew up emotionally, spiritually, or physically unsafe, reset your default expectations to a healthier vibration. So you can determine where you are in that. I'm going to start from the beginning. I encourage you to listen to all of it because there might be times where you go back and forth between all the phases. I know I do for sure. So I'm not going to tell you what area of life this is. This could be very literal or very spiritual for you, but we are going to start back with intuition. And I have a feeling that this is for people who have a big calling over their life to be some sort of guide or teacher or whatever that looks like. It could literally be a teacher, or it can just be something that you're very skilled at and you kind of show by example or lead or express yourself through words to be a guide or show guidance to other people in whatever capacity that looks like. And that could be very creatively, that could be very random. It doesn't have to be in the traditional sense that we may think, especially since intuition is here. So I am going to start with intuition. And the intuition phase, when you're just now starting out on this spiritual journey, or you're coming more into your sense of self or your purpose, discovering what that is, you have actually no idea what's going on, and you start noticing these signs and synchronicities, these 1111s, the 222s. You're wondering what's going on, and then you start learning and diving deeper into what these symbols mean. You start getting dreams. You start hearing words that you just said before, and it's really, really, it can be scary, but at the same time, it's intriguing, especially if you're ready to take that journey, right? Some people aren't, but I feel like you are. And if you've already been through this, then you know what I'm talking about. If it happened a couple years ago, a couple months ago, and these phases can take as long as they need to take. But I think that's the main part of this, is not necessarily being stuck in one phase. So back to intuition. This is kind of where you're shifting from, I'm not going to say just a normal, regular, everyday person, but kind of an unaware person who's just going along in the world, to someone who is tapped into listening to their inner GPS, their inner guidance, guiding them and telling them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, right? And you might get an intuitive idea that you never thought of before, and then you start to dig a little bit deeper. You start to dive into whatever topic that is that fascinates you for some reason, and you don't know why. And we can start to go into this rabbit hole, which is fine. There's a time for learning, and learning about yourself, learning about the topic that you've been guided to dive into. And like I said, I've just got an image of someone painting. Maybe someone has not ever painted before, and suddenly they are inspired to paint, and then they start learning about different paints and different brushes and different canvases and color mixing and color theory, and they go all the way into all these things, and then they just go into hermit mode with self-development around this thing. Now, of course, it can be many things, but I'm just giving this as an example. You get to decide what that is that your intuition is guiding you to do and be and pursue. So during this time, you are shifting away from the things you used to do and the things you used to want, and you are following that internal GPS and learning how to listen to your intuition, and what ways the spirit actually talk to you, and can you trust what you're hearing, or are you just crazy? You know what I mean? And I don't want to use that because I don't think you're crazy, trust me, but it can feel like that in the very beginning. So if that's where you are, and you are just now trying to figure out what you're being told, what you're being shown, you're not crazy. This is the time that you are supposed to be writing things down, writing down your ideas, letting yourself be able to explore what you're being told. And even if it goes kind of against what you've been taught, whether that's like religion or just traditional ways of thinking and doctrine, and suddenly you're getting new ways of thinking, be okay to explore those things, because it might be for a reason. Maybe you connect more to this style of learning, or this type of learning, or this type of spirituality that you never understood before, and it may be for a reason, but it's a way to connect you to divine source in your own personal way. Some people connect through dance, singing, writing, acting, whatever it is, actual teaching, being a teacher, being a guide, being a whatever. I'm just trying to give you examples because I know that you have probably experienced that, or you are experiencing it right now if you're in phase one. So don't let anybody kind of make you feel like you are crazy. I probably wouldn't even tell anybody that you're going through this initial thing. And when people ask you why you're so quiet, or why your head's down in the books, or what are you learning, I mean, you can use your discernment about whether you want to tell them about that or not. But I would keep it to yourself, because it is quite a 180, even for yourself, to kind of shift into this kind of different dimension or way of thinking or way of being. But this is kind of where you get to learn things that you have not even had to experience firsthand. You know, when you get this gift of intuition, or like these dreams or things, you suddenly get these downloads or this wisdom that you don't personally have to go through to understand. And that can make you feel like, well, why am I able to talk on this? What makes me qualified to suddenly be a painter when I have no idea? I can't even draw. You know what I mean? But suddenly you just know, whether it's you decided to go down this certain path because you followed your intuition to learn this thing, and now you're so skilled at it, or you suddenly got this information that came to you, and you just know because you just know. You know what you know. And isn't that what that said? I guess I'll go back and see what it said. It's like, I don't know how I know what I know, but you do have to learn to start trusting that you are being guided, and there's going to be some information that comes in that you don't know where it came from, and that's okay. That is the beauty of this whole intuitive guidance, that, you know, these little nudges, I just know this because, you know, it just came to me and I cannot prove it. And if you told somebody how you know what you know, first of all, you might not even be able to articulate it. But yes, the beginning of that was you already know. Take a deep breath and surrender to what you know to be true. Trust your inner wisdom and guidance. That takes a while to trust. So if that's where you are right now and you're developing your intuitive abilities and your skills and learning how to trust, keep on acknowledging the numbers and looking and paying attention to the synchronicities more than numbers. If you have a thought, does somebody say that thought? If you however it may be, you know, you are transitioning from kind of, you know, a kind of lost person to someone who just naturally intuitively knows. And the more you can get a sign and you sit here and ask, make sure you ask out loud, hey, what does this mean? Or I need clarity on this, and be looking for the answer. Eventually, you will do that so many times, and then you will know without a shadow of a doubt that your intuition is correct, and you can trust that your guides are giving you exactly what you need for your next phase, okay? So if that's where you are, good luck. You're shedding your old skin, you're in your regeneration process, and if you suddenly don't want to do the things you used to do, that's good, that's fine. Understand you don't have to go through the hard stuff to understand these things all of a sudden. Now you have this wisdom that's placed inside of you that you can't really explain, but it's going to be for a reason. And so that brings me to our next phase, which was awakening. And I'll go back to that once again if you are listening from the beginning. And awakening was wake up, awaken to your true self. All right. You are vibrating at a higher frequency, so you see everything differently. So once you've gotten out of that intuition phase, then you are now 100% like, I know exactly what I see. I know what I know, and you're not going to really tell me differently about what I know or this path that I'm on or even why I'm doing this. Sometimes I tell people, well, no, I don't, but it just comes out like a certain thing that I want to do. And I know it's been placed inside my heart to do such a thing, and they don't even understand or recognize why I'm doing it or I want to do it. And it's like, I cannot explain it to you, but I know it's been placed inside my heart that this is my true self and what I'm guided to do. And I cannot explain this to you because I'm on a higher vibration. I'm on a higher frequency, and I'm seeing things from a higher perspective that they probably won't understand because they're not even in the first phase, right? So while it may look to them like, oh, you're just doing X, there's really so much underneath that, rooted down in the earth, as to why you're doing this thing, why you've been guided to. And I'm keep using the painting, for example. I'm not sure why. But whatever picture that you're painting for your life, you've been guided to do that. And you've already been through phase one. And so now it's time for you to really ground it into reality and understand that this path is not straight or comfortable or easy, especially when there's going to be people kind of telling you, why are you doing this? You know, they don't understand the value or the significance of what you've been guided to do. And that is okay. So now it's time to dig into the soil, plant yourself, and grow. It says this ascension is your divine purpose. All right. So along with this awakening, there is a message of stand your ground. And I'll read what stand your ground means. It's hold firm to what you believe in or are focusing on because it is absolutely right. Know that heaven and earth are supporting you. Mountains are strong and wise. They are rooted deep in the earth and reach high into the sky. They have been where they are for thousands of years. No matter what has happened to them, they have remained strong, immovable, and unshakable. And so they offer the spiritual energies of strength and resilience. And I'll read a couple more about this, a couple more sentences. Mountain energy is, and this was to stand your ground. Mountain energy is powerful because it's firmly rooted in the Great Mother and reaches high to the Great Father. If you're feeling challenged or pressured at this time, know that your spirit is more powerful than you think. You are resilient and grounded, and the energy of air and of the mountains is giving you the unshakable strength to be who you are. Take time to root yourself deeply in the energy of the earth before welcoming in energies of heaven. Okay. You will be whole and well at the end of this current situation, and it will not stand in the way of your future growth and expansion. So this might actually be the hardest part, because this is where other energies outside of you can come into play. And like I was saying earlier about, people questioning you, or you can kind of waver about what you're doing, especially when now you have these outside factors kind of showing you opposite of what you know to be true. When we talk about manifestation, there's a lot of times of them saying to ignore the 3D. You have to basically act like you know, act like you know, act like you know. You already know, right? And whenever something opposes what you know to be true, how do you respond to that? Do you know how to stand your ground? Do you know how to say, no, I know what I'm here to do, even if it's been challenging, even if people think I don't know what I'm talking about, or think I'm crazy, or I've been guided to speak on this topic and nobody's listening to me? It doesn't matter. That you have to stand your ground because you know that that's your purpose, because you've already been through the intuition phase. You've gotten all the signs and synchronicities. You've been through all the learning, and I don't want you to go back to that learning phase. I think this is the key point, that when you are kind of in this kind of awakening and planting your feet and growing your roots to be strong and unmovable, a lot of times we want to say, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me, because there's outside forces making us feel like we might be wrong. Is our intuition incorrect? Did they lie to me? I don't know who to trust. I see these things that are not in alignment with what I know to be true. So what do I do? And so at some points we might go back to our intuition phase, and that's okay, to learn a little bit more, just to get told that, hey, no, you were right all along. And so eventually you won't be wavering back and forth. So if you're in this phase of awakening or standing your ground, getting these boundaries, standing up for what you know to be true for yourself, assess if you are teeter-tottering back to, okay, well, maybe not. Let me go back and ask my higher self, ask my guides, where am I at? Is this truly the path? The path won't be easy and it won't be straight. It's not very comfortable to grow your roots down and stretch your branches up to the sky. That's not going to be an easy process, and it takes a lot of time. It takes more time than we want to think it does. Sometimes we think, hey, I know what I'm doing. My intuition is true. And then as soon as we start acting in real life, actually, wait, what? Whatever that may be, whatever that you're doing, that you're guided to do. And I can't tell you what it is, because it's going to be different for everybody, but it'll be something that takes a little bit of work, and something that you actually will have to put effort into in real life. This is not all just feelings and emotions and happy ideas and just, oh, that'd be great. This is actually things you actually do have to put in some actual work into, that won't necessarily be easy. And you do have to incorporate both the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies within that. And even having that balance is difficult sometimes, especially when we're so used to being in that intuitive space, in that reflective space, and now it's time to do the work, and the work is not showing you the results you know to be true that you should be receiving. That may be difficult. And then there are people in your ear maybe telling you, why are you doing that? Or asking you, why are you doing that? Or trying to give you advice that you know that you should not be following. Or that's where you have to put your boundaries up and put your earphones in and block out the noise and distractions from the outside sources, and also be able to stand firm in what you believe. Stand your ground. You are in your awakening process, and that's going to take a little bit more time than I think we think. So, man, I think that's a very difficult spot to be in. But I think once you are super, super firm in your, when you're very into the soil, you plant it yourself and you begin to grow, and no wind, no rain can shake you. Nothing can get you off your post. Then, and nobody can tell you anything really. Can't nobody tell me nothing, you know what I mean? That's when you know you're ready for the next phase. So the next phase is feeling safe. And I think this can kind of also overlap with these energies that you get from the awakening phase. But this time you know that you're safe enough to express the thing or do the thing. And you are shifting now from being the student where you were when you were in your intuition phase. And maybe the awakening phase was kind of like, instead of being in your first year or second year or third year, you're now in your fourth year where you have to go and do your experiential learning, and you're actively having to, let's say if you're going to be a doctor, I'm just saying that for an example, and then you actually have to get out into the field and actually practice. That might be the awakening, and you kind of feel like, am I an imposter? Do I belong here? I'm not sure. That's the awakening phase. But then the feeling safe is like, yeah, I know I got it. I'm actually at a phase where I can teach you what to do. That's where you want to be. And so if you feel like you're not in a place where you can teach somebody else how to follow the path that you followed, or if you can't write a guidebook on how to get through what you got through, maybe it's not time. But I think eventually you will get to the place where you're safe enough, you're confident enough to speak your truth, to live in your truth, and to actively embody the thing that you maybe not just too long ago that you just got a random idea about, right? Now you're safe to be in that space and to be that person that can now not give back, but now you can kind of pass it forward type of thing. And now you can help somebody who's just now starting in whatever area that you're supposed to be teaching in. So now this comes along with a time to give rather than to take. And so trying not to take ourselves back to the place where I actually know, but I want to keep learning. I'm not quite ready. I'm actually kind of scared to now be the one who teaches the art classes. I like just being the person who reads about art and keep developing my craft, but I want you to reflect on who is that helping. I know you know that you did not get this intuitive hit to learn this thing, to go through this whole process of awakening this gift or this knowledge just for you to keep it to yourself. That helps nobody. And that's the scary part. I know I'm so good at learning, but am I good at teaching? Am I ready to teach? You're going to have to be ready to teach. And I want you to feel safe in understanding that even new teachers sometimes mess up, and that's okay. That's okay, but learning how to take one step at a time in this teacher mode, in this, hey, I'm going to share my experiences mode. It doesn't even have to be like, here's my course, you know what I mean? It can be, I'm going to show by example. I'm going to actually be the executioner of, creating something that may help somebody else, whether it's just speaking about it, whether it could be anything. That's up to you to determine. But what does it look like for you to now take this craft or this thing that you've learned or this intuitive skill that you've built, and now you've gotten grounded in, if you are at this phase, and now what does it look like for you to kind of pass this forward? That's going to look different for everybody, but I want you to feel safe in the giving, because you're no longer taking and learning and putting you're no longer absorbing more information. Now it's time to give some of that information away. And I think that's because, if you are holding on to it, then you're stunting your own growth, right? So to make more space for new things to come in, or for you to even get a deeper sense of growth, if you do want to go back to that intuitive space where you learn more, you have to give some of it away. And you can't be scared, because you're thinking about how will people perceive me? What will people think? What is their perspective going to be on me? Are they going to see me as just, and I have this image of a dandelion where either Are they going to see me as a weed growing in the concrete and step all over me? Or are they going to, view me as something to wish on? Are they going to see me as a beautiful flower instead of a weed that's not supposed to be growing here? At that point, you have to be so firmly planted and feel so safe and secure within yourself that you don't care. Your purpose now is to share and to kind of get it out there, not only for them, but so you can create that space to add more to yourself, so you can expand a little bit more. But even through all of this, you're not alone in doing any of that, right? You are going to have the same spiritual guides, the same level of intuition that's probably even heightened, guiding you through this execution phase, through this phase where you put yourself out there, where you showcase your work, where you show people how you did it, where you maybe do create a course, maybe you actually do become the teacher. Not even just the teacher, you become the professor. You are more confident in the way you speak and come across. You don't really care what people think about what you're saying or what you're doing, because you've been through all these phases, and you know what the guidance you're here to give and provide. You know what perspective you're here to provide, and you don't care what other people's perceptions of you are. You're safe in the knowing. You're safe in the knowing. So hopefully, we are able to stay in this safe mode of giving and letting that energy flow, whether that's that information flow out, more information comes in, you sharing more, and then you're allowing more things to come into you intuitively. You're giving rather than taking. You're standing your ground. You're having your boundaries. You are listening to your guides. Of course, this is a stepwise thing, so you don't lose everything before that. So when you're in the feeling safe side, or in the feeling safe phase, you're still taking all the things of standing your ground, knowing who you are, having those boundaries up, standing up for yourself. You're not wavering back and forth, but you're also knowing what your intuition says. You know exactly what these numbers mean. You know exactly the synchronicities. You are well versed in how the spirit communicates with you. So all these things are working together at all times. And if sometimes you need to go back to the intuitive phase, maybe you're starting a brand new thing, at least you know how to get through it this time a little bit faster, right? So I think that's all I have to say. I hope, I'm not sure exactly what part you needed to hear, but I think right now, personally for me, I'm in the feeling safe zone, and just understanding that I cannot hold on to the gifts that I have. I know for a fact that this is for somebody, and I can't keep questioning if I heard spirit correctly with whatever. And I also know, and I want you to know, that you can always ask in whatever phase that you're in, whether you're just now starting out, whether you are in the process of creating those roots, planting your feet, and stretching your branches up to the sky, and you're getting firm in that, or whether you already know that you know that you know, and that you're the teacher, and that you're here to express everything that you've learned, and you're here to be a guide. No matter what phase you're in, you can always ask for clarity, ask for stronger direction, ask for guidance at every part of the way, if that's what you need to feel safe and secure. And look for those answers and feel that feeling of safety. And no matter what phase, no matter what the outside sources are trying to get you to believe or get you to feel, you need to block out all of that distraction and block out that noise. For the greater good, you are here for a reason, and I need you to be devoted and committed to this life path. And I always say people are waiting on you and your gifts and what you have to bring to the table and your guidance. And you're not going to be for everybody. So be okay with some people looking at you as a weed and growing in the concrete instead of the flower that they can wish on, like a dandelion. Understand that you are very, very unique in what you do and what you're being guided to do. And I know you might be a little bit anxious or apprehensive to to start this thing if you're in the beginning phase with this intuition and you're like, Spirit, did I hear you right? God, did I hear you right? Are you sure that's what you want me to do? I have no experience or skills in public speaking. What do you mean that's what you want me to do? It's going to be tough, and you have your inner guidance. I think that's kind of why I named this Inner Journey Oracle. I'm not here to be your guidance. Everybody has their own inner guidance GPS, basically, from Spirit, and I need you to tap into that and go through these phases and seriously go through them and get to the place where you're feeling safe, and that you can always ask Source for more guidance and more help to get you to where you need to be, and for you to be solid and stable and safe to give to the world, because they need you. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there. I hope that was very helpful. Definitely leave it down in the comment section if this resonated with you. What phase are you in, if you want to let me know. And thank you so much for listening. I know this was a very, very long one. This is the longest one I've ever done. I can't believe 30 minutes went by this fast. But I wanted to take my time because I was sitting on this for a minute, and so let me know what you think. Definitely hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try my best to feel super, super safe on this channel to speak what I'm being given, and if you don't resonate with it and you don't really rock with it, and that's okay too. I hope you got something from this message, and I'll see y'all in the next video.